Productions, the Cultural Preservation Station. Tune in. Tune in. Hey yo. Black education, cultural preservation, Taylor BTV, but cause elevation. Tune into the station, we rockin' the whole nation. That's right, we rockin' the whole nation, prepping new generation for mental activation. Taylor BTV's the new sensation. Stop the hesitation and learn something new. My girl Taylor B's here to show and prove. Terrorist shit.
Peace and bless, fam. Welcome to Teller BTV, aka the Cultural Preservation Station. I'm your host, Teller B, and this is B.E.E.C.A.U.S.E. If we don't, who will? And of course, B.E.E.C.A.U.S.E. stands for Black Education Empowers, creating all unity, saving everything. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight and rocking out with us tonight. This show is to close out our Black History Month. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys, everyone that tuned in all month. Thank you to all the guests that were on all month. We appreciate you. We appreciate the continued support. So if you're tuning in tonight with us, make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets. I will start with the YouTube page. Please go follow us and subscribe on our YouTube. That's BTV Productions. Our Facebook, the official Facebook is BTV, a platform for the truth. Our Instagram is at TellerBTV. Our Twitter is at TellerBTV. And our website is www.tellerbtv.org. If you'd like to be on the show, we are accepting bookings. So please email me or DM me on any of the social media outlets, and we'll talk and get you booked on the show. I'm accepting for all creators, artists, entrepreneurs, activists, advocates, authors, etc., etc. So if you know anybody that wants to come on the show, please pass the information along. Or if you want to come on the show, please get at me. All right, so let's get started. We have a lot to cover tonight, so I want to get started. Tonight's episode is State of the Nation. We're going to be chopping it up. We have the panel with us tonight. They're all in the green room. They're ready to go. So we're going to be chopping it up about a few topics that relate to the state of the nation. And how we can best effectively move forward, think of some solutions. So each member of the panel has chosen their own topic for the night. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the panel. Let me just go ahead and get them on. Okay. First, I want to, looks like, is everybody on? I want to introduce our panel. So we have Queens up first, of course. I want to introduce my West Coast Connect, my sister, Koramaisms. She's an extraordinary spoken word artist, a storyteller who she regularly has a spot on the Griot Party, which takes place out there in Tacoma, Washington, where she's from. She's a self-proclaimed woman empowerment specialist who is hell-bent on assuring that melanins know the power of healing and releasing of toxic and traumatic events from both childhood and adulthood. Karam, are you there with us? Let me see if she's on. Can you hear me, sis? All right, so while she's getting set, let me go ahead and introduce our other panelists. We have Next Kings up from Brooklyn in the building. Let's welcome our spiritually centered, conscious brother with knowledge of self, my good brother, the God R.A. Blackstorm. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I know you weren't on the last panel. I know you had some other things going on, but peace to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in. You want to say something to the people?
Yeah, peace to the gods. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You already know. So next up, we want to introduce Live Starr, who is a real live star out of the Bronx, New York. He's an MC, a philosopher, an advocate for the betterment of the Black community. So let's introduce our brother, Live Starr. Peace, bro. What's up with you?
Peace, love, and happiness to everybody. Hope y'all good. Everybody doing well. Blessed to see another day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope everybody's doing well. I'm not sure where Kram is. She might be getting herself set. So we'll give her some time to get together. But we do have a huge show for you tonight. So let me go ahead and get the banners up. So first, we're gonna start with Live Star. What we did for tonight's show is we just let all the panelists kind of pick a topic that they feel near and dear to them that kind of has to do with the state of our nation and how we can kind of move forward. And Live Star has chosen the food industry, so we're gonna go ahead and let Live Star get started with his topic, and of course, we're all gonna chirp in and give our input as we go along. So go ahead, bro. Why don't you go ahead and get started and talk to us a little bit about what you want to say about the food
Yeah,
industry?
but basically, man, the food industry is corrupt. They bad. And the more research I do about it, the more I come to find out about it. And basically, I'm to the point now where I think like action should be taking place about this because this is murder. This is really murder. I've been looking at me personally. I don't eat no meat. I just eat three fish. The fish I eat is salmon, flounder, and tuna. So I cut the chicken. I don't eat chicken. I don't eat no type of turkey. No, stuff like that. But I'm working on becoming plant based where I don't eat no meat. But doing my research with that, I come to find out a lot of ill stuff. And sometimes we don't when we go shopping, we don't realize things because we systematic people. A lot of people rely on the food companies to be legit. They rely on the food companies to take in the consumer best interest. A lot of people, rely on that. And I think we being bamboozled. Well, I don't think I know we being bamboozled for a fact. If you go into your local supermarket and you pick up let's say a box of noodles, turn that box of noodles on the back and read the ingredients in it. It has like 8 different chemicals in this one box of noodles. So what you do, a person like me, I researched these large names that you can't pronounce. You know what I'm saying? Like what they got, yellow 40. Now we all know what yellow 40 red dye is. We already know that, but that's the basics of it. Some people was taught that in the 90s. Elijah Muhammad put us on, the foods, what to eat, the halal and halal foods. But now I think it's gotten to a whole nother level where the chemicals they putting in us is really speeding up the process to a death, or early death, which is causing heart disease, which is causing diabetes, which is causing so many other illnesses in us. But they tell us it's hereditary. It's not hereditary. It's coming from the food. The the food is being processed different. They not letting they're not letting the chickens and the cow grow naturally till its full ability. They feeding the beef, they feeding the cows beef, which is causing a choline in the meat, which is causing a recall. They injecting the chickens, the place of the chickens, the facilities and the companies that the plants and these animals is being placed in is nasty. It's not sanitized. Chickens is eating other chickens feces, stuff like that. And on top of that, then on top of the chemicals they putting into the meat, once the chicken is dead, and they process it and they wrap it up ready to ship it to the supermarket. It's also a chemical they spray on it. I can't think of the name right now. The spray on the meat that makes the meat look fresher than actually what the meat is. The meat be rotten, but it looked like it just is so fresh. It looks so red and fresh and tender. People buy it, but that's not the correct state of the meat. You understand me?
So let me interject, bro. They what they do is they package the meat with ammonia, and it
Yeah,
keeps that
ammonia.
color. And it's also some pink slime that they put in like the beef and all that, to help fill it and help to keep it, I guess, preserved, or I'm not sure if that's the case, but to keep it to have that look. But go ahead. I wanted to interject that it's a part of the packaging too.
Yeah, you absolutely correct. I think the green slime is more like pus. Because when I was doing my research, like the green slime is more like pus and different things like of that nature, if I'm not mistaken. But the point where I really want to get into is I want to inform people that, because I'm gonna be brief with it. Before you eat something and before you buy something, just turn it around and look at the back of the ingredients and study these ingredients. And if you is gonna buy something, look for natural things that, like for instance, I buy this juice. It's the juice is like $5, $7, but they make beets. They blend. It's like smoothies, but they put it in a container. And when you look on the back of it, the only ingredients in it is what's displayed on the bottle. You understand? So if the bottle say beets mixed with orange juice, you turn it around, it says ingredients, beets and orange juice. And that's what we should be looking for when we trying to consume food from these supermarkets. I advise everybody though, if you could, to start growing your food. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll be the best way. We already know Bill Gates just bought up all this land. He owns what is called San I can't pronounce it. Y'all know the name of it. What is it called?
Monticello,
Yeah,
Monticello,
Monticello.
Monticello.
Yes.
Rob, what's the name of it? I know you know the name.
Yeah,
What's
what's the
it?
name of it, Black?
Monsanto? Is it
Monsanto.
Monsanto?
Monsanto.
Yes.
Monsantos. I know it's Santos something.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Monsanto.
Monsantos. Now, when you do
Hmm.
your research on them, bam, you know what I'm saying? The proof is in the pudding. What they do, they cover 90% of the things they cover is processed food. You know what I'm saying? Processed food. So when you go to the supermarket, there's really death in the food. You passing death. You know what I'm saying? You passing chemicals, and it's messed up. So it got to the point to where now I'm trying to see if there's any legal action that could be take place with this. Because if one company using natural resources to produce juice and Tropicana is putting 10 different chemicals in their juice, then what's the reason? What's the reason for this? Why is this juice got 10 different chemicals that's causing illnesses in the community and in the world, but this company can use natural juice? But this natural juice is $7. This joint with the chemicals is $2. They give you 5 of those for $3. You understand what I'm saying? But this the stuff that's gonna kill you. So I'm trying to get to a point of level where you could bring this, even though it might not do much, but it do need to be recognized. At least they understand, okay, these people is aware, the people in society is getting aware, and they, let's try to do something else now. Because if we act like we don't know what's going on, you got people buying seedless fruit, they're not questioning it. That's another thing. Any fruit that has a seed that supposed to have a seed, you go to the supermarket, it doesn't have a seed in it. I seen seedless watermelons. How is this possible? So I think I'm gonna do. I don't know what we think. I'm gonna take it a step farther to see what kind of explanation these people is gonna try to give us. You understand what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make no sense. And 90% of deaths in these viruses is coming from the food, because the food create the mucus, like Dr. Sebi said. And where does the disease live? It lives in the mucus, right? So if we notice and they put in these chemicals in us that's killing us, creating mucus, ain't that a form of homicide? Ain't that a form of death? I would think so. So you know what I'm saying? I definitely want to get deep into it, but I just advise somebody, like I said, we're gonna be brief about it until I get deeper on it. Just advise that
So
I'm just advising go ahead, T.
no, so I was going to say, yeah. So let's let the panel chime in on some of the things you were saying. I know they're chomping at the bits that kind of comment on what some of the things you've been saying. So go ahead, Karama or Rob, whoever wants to chime in first.
Y'all went blank on me.
I'll
All
go
right, let
ahead
me.
and say something. Oh, sorry about that. I'm on my phone for the first time, so I'm getting used to that. Um, a lot was said, and there's a lot that's a lot for people to digest if it was their first time to hear it. Right, for sure, especially related to just the simple ingredients. Because I've heard before, if there's more than like 5 ingredients, don't buy it, right? Or something like that. And if you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't buy it. But as related to the color additives, these are things that can have simple behavioral changes in your child, just from having them in your child's diet, such as yellow number 5, the FDNC, the red 40s. These things can cause different behaviors in the child. And see, here's a simple way to eliminate it from your child's diet if you're still taking part in fast ways of eating, such as cereals in the store. And your children can read, right? Send them looking for their cereal and make sure they check for this and that, and it doesn't have it. My older sons, if one was here, I would have him come and say it because they remember, because we laugh and joke. They would run through the store. This doesn't have any yellow number 5. Mama, can I have the cereal? No, they called me Ema back then. Ema, can we have this? Ema, can we have this? And I would be like, yep, as long as it doesn't have. And they're like, no, ma'am, it doesn't. Right? They knew these things, the fruit snacks, things like that, because I know I understood that. But there's also the misunderstanding that people think that it has to do with a religious way of life only to adapt to these eatings. Because when the brother mentioned how it was introduced by the brother Elijah Muhammad in the Eat to Live, these are just ways to adapt a healthy lifestyle for your children and the child's brain development, right? Because these color dyes, again, like was mentioned, they have an effect on your behavior, on your endocrine system, which is your thyroid, stuff like that, nervous system. All of these dyes and chemicals over time, continued use, right, is going to have a bearing on our body. And I wanted to agree to disagree with the brother about hereditary, excuse me, things aren't hereditary because of the GMO and the processed foods and whatnot, but diets are passed on. The ways in which people eat are passed on, how the parents eat from so it's it's kind of hereditary. But then when we grow up and you learn better, you do better, right? So that's how you or I, how we know better and eat better and buy different foods and are learning how to use real raw food to, food is thy medicine, right? We're eating that, that way. So we can pass on those diets to our children now or whatnot. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I had some other little things I wrote down, but I'll share the
So
mic.
cool. Thank you so much, Karama, for that insight. And I wanted to get a little bit of audience feedback. Richard Rowling says it's been a long time since he's seen a real orange. So yeah, a long time since I've seen like a real grape, a real orange. Absolutely. Rob, did you want to add anything?
Yeah. It's very. They did a study a while back where they switched the American diet with the African diet, and the African diet usually has more greens, more vegetables, more fruit added in a lot of the meals. And of course, the American diet is filled with a lot of starches and carbohydrates, a lot of gluten, which is basically glued to the stomach and the breads and things like that. So they switched the diets. African people were eating the American diet, American people were eating the African diet. And they found that the African people that were eating their American diet, their high blood pressure went up. They had different numerous health issues. And conversely, the American people that were eating the African diet, of course, Black people, now these people, their health went up, blood pressure went down, they started feeling better and things like that. So everything really in this contemporary society that we live in that comes from Western European culture, from the food, diet, and so on and so forth. I mean, endless other things is definitely not going to be conducive to our well-being. All the GMOs in the food, how it's genetically engineered for taste, modified so that we become addicted and that we crave different things at different times. So it's really a whole capitalism game at the end of the day. So yeah, as everyone on the panel is saying, we definitely want to keep our third eye open. Real quick, just something I was talking to somebody about yesterday. This is Welch's great. Shout out to Biggie, right? T-bone steak, cheese abs, and Welch is great, right? So I got me some Welch's
Absolutely.
today for my breakfast yesterday, and I had a box of what is it? Not Goobers, Raisinets. And I was looking at this. This says it's 100% juice. But I'm looking at the box of Raisinets, and it had like 40 something grams of sugar, right? And it's like the movie size box. And this has 70 grams of sugar. So you would think that you're getting less juice or natural juice, but it's really grape juice from concentrate. So if you go to the supermarket and get concentrate juice, that can is mostly sugar, like it's like a syrup. So this is how they hide the high fructose corn syrup and saying that it's concentrate, right? So it's all a shell game at the end of the day. So you're thinking you're drinking 100% juice, which I did, but I'm comparing it. I'm like, why is this 280 calories and a whole box of sugary snacks is like 100 and something calories, but this is supposed to be 100% juice. So just an example of some of the games that they play and some of the things you really got to look out for, and just do your due diligence to find farmers markets, Whole Foods, see if you can find seedless watermelon seeds. I mean, not seedless, seed filled watermelon, seed filled grapes, and things like that. Because the game that they're trying to play is trying to eliminate us through any way, shape, or form that they can. And definitely, they're using food as chemical warfare, biochemical warfare at that.
I obviously agree with everything you just said, Rob. I also want to add that when you look at some of the foods over in the UK and Europe, there's a lot of foods over there that are banned over there, but they're legal here, and they've been passed by the FDA to be legal here. If you take a look at a bag of Doritos, for instance, and look at the ingredients from a U.S. in Dorito, from a European Dorito, and you can see the difference where the US Dorito has all the yellow 40s, the blues this, the reds that, and the Europe Dorito only has like the natural stuff that's supposed to be in a Dorito, like the corn chip, or whatever. It's a lot less ingredients. So I mean that's that like Rob said, it's a capitalistic game, and that we have to take a look at some of the policies that we have here that really allow them to really service that food. And I agree with Livestock. It's a form of genocide. So I agree with him that we need to grow our own food. At least try to do better and make better informed decisions about what we eat, and start reading those labels and start going organic and start drinking more smoothies and eating more fruits and veggies. So absolutely. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Karama is going to be taking over the next topic. And her topic is music. So I'm going to let Sis go ahead and introduce her topic. And then again, we'll all chime in and give our input.
Hi, hello, and thank you again. So, this is just something that's always been on my mind as it relates to music, and I've had this conversation with numerous people over the years as it relates to music, and that is this. Music can program you into a certain belief system or a certain way of life or a certain behavior. What do I mean by that? Well, music is repetitive, right? Same as affirmations or mantras. They're repetitive. You say them, you hear that you say it over and 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 over again, right? You repeat it. And so then it thus becoming a subliminal message to yourself and to your cells and whatnot in your body, right? So if you're listening to a certain type of music all the time on repeat, you'll start to adapt behaviors or believe in a certain thing. For example, one particular song, and this is an old school song, and then I'll move my way into a song that even in my generation from the West Coast, for how I was grew up in the environment, how that impacted a belief system I had, and along those with some of my friends. But what really made me think of it was the song I keep hearing. I'm an old school music fan, right? And that's Early in the Morning by the Gap Band. And in that song, Charlie Wilson got some pipes. He can sing, don't get me wrong. And I'm not knocking the brother or the songwriters in any way, shape, or form. But however, there's a generation of men who heard this song And quite possibly, instead of deciding to try and work it out with a woman they truly loved and was in love with, they decided to move on to their next victim or get with a different woman. Because I tell you, when early in the morning he says he's going to get up early in the morning and find himself another lover. Because, see, he realized he loved the other woman, but she had left him, right? And then he even says in the song how he was young and foolish, and that how he loved her so much, but he never says that he's gonna try and go work it out with her. He just realizes that she was such a good woman. He loved her. He even wanted her to have his child. She was fine and all these things, the greatest thing ever. But he did. And now here's some things. I get it. I might not know the backstory. I'm reading too much into it. I get that too. But the repetitiveness of this song being heard over and over and sung could lead someone to believe that that's an okay behavior to do in a relationship. And then it goes on, and then it's a behavior that's modeled, right? Now, let me continue and then take your notes, right? Share. I want people to chime in and have their definite opinions on that. But so then I grew up West Coast, 90s, thugged out, gangbanger, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and them type music. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none type music, right? Different songs, right? All this being thugged out and banged out was cool. Being a nigga's bitch, bitches wasn't shit but hoes and tricks, these kinds of things where it was okay to call and refer to oneself as such, as a bitch, right? And your friends, your sister friends. This is a term of endearment, even with your booze, your sister booze, right? And so, but then these songs, it's not no fun. So now you're sharing boyfriends or girlfriends because it's not no fun. If your homegirl can't have none, if the homeboy can't have any, it isn't any fun. Pass them around. I literally remember standing in a concert that Too Short was at, a Too Short concert, but the who are the opening act. Please, because their
Come on,
song
it
was,
says who was the opening act? Who was it?
I can't even remember their name. All I remember is the song and how I was standing there like, wait, what? Pass the pussy, pass the pussy. That was the hook to the song, and I'm standing there. I'm about 17, 18 years old with my girls. If I'm not mistaken, I would think I was 18. So, and I'm standing there and I'm like, wait, what is he saying past the, oh, right? Can you pass the and there's people and there's some people and I just stood there because I was like, oh no, I can't. No, I'm not. I don't agree to pay. I'm no, we're not. This is not why
Yeah.
I'm passing the pussy,
So I
right?
get you,
So
sis, and I definitely agree with that. That the
yeah,
music actually is a huge influence. I'm a big
right.
advocate of that with the modern
And
hip
now
hop
it's hip
music that's
hopping.
out. Yeah, yeah, the
Now it's
drill
hip
music.
hopping.
Yeah, the
Yes.
drill music is highly affecting the youth and different things like that. Rob, why don't you go ahead and chime in on that?
Yeah, shoot, music. Yeah, music is it's a serious thing. The repetitive nature, like Karam was saying, anything that's done in repetition, it enhances memory. So when you repeat certain slogans, when you say certain things, and a lot of the music, nowadays it's a lot of I want to say it's very like emotional. It's very sad too if you listen to some of the lyrics, some of the songs. Like I was listening to this song the other day. He's like, "Please God, why is life so hard?" I'm like, "Damn, this guy's probably like 18, 19.
Right.
Is
Singing
that on
with
already?
his
Right.
he's singing
Yeah.
with passion about how hard life is and pray and asking God why is life so hard. And I'm like, damn, you listen to some songs by Rod Wave, and stuff like that, and you really gotta talk to the children because that's the target demographic always,
Mhm.
32
Mhm.
to 16, with the music, and even sometimes as young as 12. to, you know, get them to listen to these messages for these artists, you know, they don't really know, and you can't really expect a musician to be responsible for for your children or for people that you surround yourself with. So with the music game, you got to be careful. You really have to, like I always say in the morning, you should prime yourself with music that inspires you, music that makes you feel good, music that's gonna give you good messages to support your day. You know, at night before you go to bed, if you listen to music, you want to listen to things, the same thing that's inspirational. You know, there's jazz, there's binaural beats, there's isochronic tones. You know, they got rain, nature sounds, all types of things that you could train your brain and sync your brainwave frequencies so that you could achieve and hit certain milestones in your life. But the way music is projected and the way music is marketed and sold to us nowadays is really to shape the minds and shape the behavior of the masses. So, you know, like they say, the masses are always going to be asses. So the music is always going to serve the lowest common denominator first, because again, it's trying to keep people in a herd type of mentality. So those of us that know better, we just got to do better. We just got to curate what we listen to, and we got to, most importantly, make sure that our family, our children, that we curate their music and we listen to what they listen to. And we also are, so we're able to not just shun what they're listening to and say, don't listen to that. Or, you know, like my parents did with rap. It's like, don't listen to this. I'm gonna go sneak and listen to it. I'm gonna go sneak and listen to NWA and Ice Cube like all day. Music is banging. I'm gonna listen to the Chronic. Like, you ain't stopping it, you know, one way or another. So it's not about shunning it, but it's about explaining these messages and explaining how that is fiction, not to really look at it as reality. Don't take it in face value and don't start to imitate this type of behavior, because that's what it's meant to do. It's meant for you to imitate this behavior and live this fake lifestyle that, you know, they think these rappers are real and these musicians are real, and they're really just like Al Pacino and Scarface, you know. But the way music is and how repetitive it is, people start to really believe that it's real and start to act out on it because the way music influences behavior.
Yes, I want to actually chime in on what you just said, Rob. It does influence behavior, and I want to take it even a step further. And I know Rob knows a lot about this. And forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, but the solfeggio frequencies. Yeah. So a lot of the record labels use these certain frequencies with certain music and certain content of music and lyrics to facilitate whatever change they're trying to facilitate in the people. So that's also something that I wanted to bring up. And I'm just going to read the hertz and what it associates with each frequency. So 396 hertz is associated with liberating guilt and fear. 417 hertz is associated with undoing situations and facilitating change. 528 hertz is associated with transformation and miracles, and that's also for DNA repair. 639 hertz is associated with connecting relationships. 741 hertz is associated with expression for solutions. 852 hertz is associated with returning to the spiritual order. So a lot of the music that they play, I believe, is between the 396 and the 417 to and then it's also coupled with the content of the music that they're playing and the content of the drill and the repetitive nature of the drum. So all of that really coincides and really, affects it as well. Go ahead, Live Star. You're a musician. You're MC. So you make music. So why don't you talk about some of your experience with that and what you think about all that?
You just took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I was going to talk about, the frequencies. But you're right. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, bro. You good. We can hear
All
you.
right. Yeah, but basically, yeah, right. Everybody right. I mean, music is a frequency. I think the second thing that came into creation was sound, right? I think. So sound been around. Music is powerful. It changed like you said, the different frequencies, different hertz, it plays on the psyche. So, if you like Kay said, if you listening to a song over and over, which I do a lot. See, I don't even listen to my music because my music make me emotional because I talk about different things. I got a song about my mother. I did a song about my father. that I ain't even put out yet. You know what I'm saying? I did it like 2-3 years ago. Like, and the song is crazy. The song is crazy because I really opened up about it, but I can't even listen to the song. I probably heard the song probably 3 times since I recorded it, and it's 3 years old. So, music definitely is a frequency. It plays on our emotions. If you talk about killing and everything, and I'm listening to it, and I get into a problem, a situation, might could have been resolved, but I went and listened to, yo, shoot him up, bang bang, fuck that nigga, boom boom boom. I'm intoxicated. That could play that could play a whole part in the situation that really occurred. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, Black, these rappers don't live what they say. You know what I'm saying? These industry heads, they tell them to rap about certain things. Look, we need you to do this. Just like the gang, the drill music right now. I'm going to use this for a big topic. The drill music right now is so low frequency that these guys is actually getting locked up, indicted for the things they saying in their music because they actually killing the kids. They killing the ops. You know, they really doing it, and they putting it in the music. So when the other ops hear the music, it's just a bunch of back and forth. It's no substance. You know what I'm
And you
saying?
just said that the frequency is so low. I wonder what frequency they use. It's probably the 396. That's like the one of the lowest. And
Okay, so
that's
it
to
is.
liberate guilt and fear. So if they're using that frequency that's supposed to do that, but it's giving them the message to do the opposite, it's going to have the more effect for you to do that opposite.
Exactly, and it's gonna create seeds. It's gonna create a revolutionary thought to the next person. You understand? Oh, I'm going through this with my oppositions too. Everybody's a op. So oh, I'm going through this with my oppositions too. I don't like them niggas. Oh, these are boom, 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 boom. Da-da-da-da-da. We shot your eight. We smoking Tukey. We smoking Reggie. You know what I'm saying? They pissing on each other graves. There's no respect for the dead. You understand? Even when I was coming up, we had respect for the dead. They don't have no respect for the dead, and all that's playing on the music. You know what I'm saying? The music, they putting it in their videos, they putting these guns in their videos. Look at all the kids that just got indicted for trafficking from Brooklyn, that was trafficking guns from Brooklyn to Atlanta, Georgia. All them guns. The police said the reason why they caught them, they had a 4-year run. The reason why they caught them is because of the music. The music. That's how they got caught, because of their music. If they wasn't embracing that in the music, they could have been talking about something conscious, right? I'm gonna give you a whole other. Your perception is what counts. You don't gotta put what you do in your real life in the music. You know what I'm saying? You don't. But at the same time, they say it's entertainment. I don't look at it like that. I take hip hop for real. I was raised in an era where we talk about what we did, we talk about the things we saw, and we had substance. The music now, the labels, they bring it down to where it's just about murder, drugs, pills, and lean. So they know what they was doing, and it's working. So that's why I try to make high frequency music. Like when you hear it, you'll be like, okay, damn, that made me feel good today. Like the brother said, when you try to go to sleep, put on some jazz music, put on some waterfalls or something, because that plays a major part. I was once told, don't go to sleep mad, don't go to sleep
Hmm.
sad. Try to go to sleep.
Or angry at somebody. Yep.
Exactly, because
Hmm.
that's when we gotta ask ourselves, well, damn, what, you slept on the wrong side of the bed this morning? No, they went to bed that way, so they woke up that way, and now
Hmm.
the way that's projecting throughout their universe right now. So it's gonna affect everybody who comes in contact with them because they're giving out that energy. That's the same thing with music.
Absolutely, bro. And I want to give some audience feedback. Kashante Chase says it's depression music. And everyone is saying that it's a really great conversation. So kudos to the panel. We have to go ahead and move into the next topic for our time. I want to keep our time good this week. So Rob is going to be our next topic, and his topic is the relationship dynamics. I would assume between black men and black women. And then I'll just let him go ahead and elaborate and expound on how he wants to present his topic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, there was a clip, Steve Harvey clip. He was like, the women are supposed to get 85 and the men are supposed to get 15, right? because the woman gives birth, et cetera, et cetera. And I disagreed not on the fact that women aren't supposed to be valued and, placed on a pedestal and, you know, be be heralded for the fact that they are life givers and things like that. But I think, instead of happy wife, happy life, it's happy couple, no trouble, right? And it's really
I
nowadays
like
there's a lot
that.
of,
Happy
yeah,
couple, no trouble. I like
happy
that.
couple, no trouble, because men
Mm-hmm.
need to be happy in a relationship too. Men need to feel valued in a relationship too. Men need
Absolutely.
compliments, men need encouragement, men need all these things the same way that women need them. So we're really two parts of a half. The Kabbalion is a law of gender, even though they're trying to erase gender, ironically, but there is masculine energy and there's feminine energy. You cannot take that away from life. You cannot take that away from nature. It's a part of nature. So when we talk about relationships and relationship dynamics, there's a lot of black men against black women versus black men, and you see the modern woman, you see the high value men, right? These are commonplace topics nowadays that are kind of proliferating the internet. And it's really not getting us anywhere because it's just leading to more and more people being lonely and more people giving bad relationship advice. We're taking relationship advices from people that's not even in long-term relationships or a relationship to begin with. Like it's the craziest thing. Some of these people aren't even married. They have no long-term relationships, but they're world-class, relationship coaches. And so the I think the key thing is that we really need to get to a space to where we're getting into relationships for the purpose of business, how they really were. Where is the relationship going? Where's the relationship taking us? What are the plans for the future? What's the plans for the family? Relationships are always, in marriage especially, you sign a contract. So it's a business decision. Ultimately, you sign a contract. There's property and monies that can be exchanged depending on accidents or anyone passing. So it's a business transaction. And if you look at marriage in medieval times, or even prior to that, it always has been about uniting empires or people coming together to build something bigger in the future and to pass on a legacy. And I think nowadays we've gotten into relationships strictly because of feelings. This person feels good, that person feels good, they're great to hang around with. Okay, let's get together. Oh shit, we have a baby. All right, let's have a baby. Boom. But there's no real strategy. There's no real sincere approach. There's no real, okay, we're going to do this. We're having a baby. We're going to go in this direction. This is how we feel spiritually. This is how we are getting together financially. What's your credit score? What's my credit score? What am I bringing in? What are you bringing in? Like serious topics that people choose to avoid because they just want to do what feels good in relationships. And I think a lot of times this is why we have such a high divorce rate in the Black community. This is why we have a high, so over 70% of Black people are in single parent households right now. And it's easy to say it's the man, but then it's 85% of women are initiating divorces, right? So you can't really blame any gender or any specific person. It's both of us coming into our own, coming into the knowledge of ourselves and understanding what we bring to the table, what she brings to the table, what I bring to the table, and coming together to make that, whatever those two things are, bigger, broader, and better. And ultimately, that will make the relationship sustain, not just how somebody looks, not if they have great WAP, right? Not if the P is slinging right? None of these superficial things that we're fed in this society as a means for a healthy relationship. That's all I got.
Absolutely, absolutely. Does anybody want to go ahead and chime in on pick up where Rob left off? I really agree with you, Rob. I think it's important that we kind of slow down and just take a look at who we're getting involved with, making sure we're doing things to be safe, making sure we're empowering and educating our children on how to move when they're getting into that age group to make sure that they're safe and that they just slow down and make sure that they're, making the right decisions and, not just jumping to the first person that likes you just because they like you. I think that's been a huge problem historically with our nation. And I think a lot of it has to do with obviously everything that we've gone through. But we can't keep using that as a crutch. We're we're a whole generation of foundational Black Americans that have come this far. It's 2022. We have all the information at our fingertips. We've seen the way things have gone. We've seen things, so we're informed now. So it's up to us. We as people, we have to make better decisions and educate our family and our kids better with making relationship decisions. And I also agree with you. All these gurus out there, like the Derek Jacksons, and the Kevin Samuels. I mean, some of the stuff I can agree with what they say, and I don't really care about the delivery or the tone. I kind of don't like when people get into the how someone delivers something or the tone of their delivery. Sometimes people need to hear things the way they need to hear them. So I'm on board with some of that, but some of it I think goes a little bit too far. But I think it does kind of give us a realistic view of how we are thinking, like how the majority of people actually think about relationships, and it's pretty sad that some of the dynamics that we have with each other.
Real quick, we come from a spiritual culture with this relationship thing. Even the way we related with each other, we come from Ubuntu. That was the motto, and that's as I am, we are, right? Not as I am, not individuals, not thinking. When you listen to relationships today, it's like, what can they do for me? What does she bring to the table? What does he bring to the table? It's supposed to be me, me, me. It's very selfish. Not what we could do for each other, not how I could better you, how you could better me, and how we could better each other. So we've gone away from that principle in the society, and now we're just shooting at the wind. But like you said, it's 2022. There's plenty of people out here. There's plenty of advice. There's plenty of ways that we could take care of ourselves, that we could heal from past traumas, so forth and so on, and we can move forward in our relationships and have healthy relationships. So we're not only just looking out for the best of ourselves, we're looking out for the best of others while we're doing the best for ourselves as well. So not depending or relying on someone else to take us to the next level, us going on our next level, and just having someone on the side that is going on their next level as well, and we going on it together. And that's really what Ubuntu is. As I am, we are.
Yeah, great. That's wonderful and beautiful. I wanted to give some audience feedback. So, Dartmouth says, I think if you want a good relationship with someone, you just need to be totally honest. It's simple, but it's not easy. Total 100% honesty is all. So, I definitely agree with Dartmouth's statement there. Anybody else want to chime in on the topic?
I I agree with what's being said. I definitely think that it's important for people to have conversations that are honest and open with anyone intended to have a relationship so that people can make informed decisions, right? Too many times we're concerned, and the brother had mentioned some of what I was kind of going to say is, excuse me, too many times we're looking at what the other person is capable of providing us or giving us and not what we can give them, how we can grow together, or if we can. Right, too many times we're just looking at people for we're lusting, and so we're not telling someone like I have had a man, and I told him, I said, you know what, I appreciate you telling me the truth. You can't, but thank you. I just want to fuck you. Literally. He told me that, and how he said it, it was so cold, and I still had the tingle in my body, like, well, okay. But I was like, wait, no. Right? Like, oh, damn, that's not what I want. So, you know what? But thank you. Thank you. Let's just go
Right.
on
The
about our
honesty, the
business.
honesty is appreciated.
I respected him for that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Instead of dragging me along and I'm getting on his nerves, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? What's wrong with me? And you get the pick me type mentality and the whole time. Sometimes you have to tell people you never know, that might be all she wants too, because sometimes we're forgetting it's just lust that's happening right here. I'm just attracted to how your booty shapes. I'm just attracted to how your lips are or sit on your face, bruh. I'm attracted to how you make me laugh. And so I feel sexy around you. Or, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. So proceed with caution. People are so concerned with their feelings or what the other person may think of them or tell someone else or whatnot, that honesty is not one of the first things they think of. They think, well, damn, she is fine. I or you know what, I'm still and now you caught up in this whole entire situationship or entanglement, and you don't know what to do, and there's these emotional bonds and ties, and now you wondering whys, and and it just doesn't make sense. Just be honest so people can make these informed decisions and heal yourself. Know that just because girl A or boy B did something to your with you, it doesn't mean, and if you feel it's something in this relationship that's called a trigger, and you might need to step back. That's all I have to share.
Right. Thank you for that input, sis. Live Star, real quick. Do you have a quick point to make about this before we get into the last topic?
Honesty, like the Dark Mouth said, is the best policy. It's the best thing to do. You always want to give somebody an option when you meet them, let them know. And another thing I wanted to talk about real quick for our relationships, I think we should talk to people that we more compatible. For instance, if I'm conscious and I meet a sister, she's not conscious, she's a Christian, but that sister's not receptive and she's stagnated there, then why would I pursue that? I think it's a waste of energy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not gonna grow. If she's not receptive into learning new things and trying to grow, then you would never bring her in your world. So now you gotta ask yourself, is the time worth me dealing with this person? Because we never gonna see. I'm spiritual, she's religious. I'm just using this for example. But where the line fall at? So I wouldn't take my time to invest in that situation, especially like I said, if she's not receptive. You know what I'm saying? Because we probably be good business partners. She probably a good business partner. We could probably build an empire together. But once that empire built financially, what we gonna have spiritually? So yeah,
Facts.
this was a good topic
Good
to me.
topic. Great. Great. So let's move into our last topic, guys, in this for the sake of time. So the last topic was my topic. So let me go ahead and get it up on the screen. My topic is the wealth gap in America, and why some of the trends and the statistics of that mean that we need reparations now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. Not now, but right now. So I want to go ahead and first start by saying I'm going to give some facts out about the disparity. We know the wealth gap is huge in America. It has always been. It has, seems like it always will be at the rate we're going. So let me go ahead and start with the statistics, and then I want to show a graph so we can really see the dynamic of how huge the disparity is. So right now in America, white people own 86% of wealth, and they actually make up 60% of the population. White wealth is diversified among several different arenas as real estate, equities, mutual funds, other various assets. Wealth is generally held by older Americans who are most likely to be white. And Americans 55 and older collectively own 72% of wealth in the United States. That's 55 and older. And then actually the people who are 70 and older own about 28% alone. So those are huge statistics. I want to go ahead and show this map now. Well, it's not a map, it's a graph. So let me pull it up on the screen. And this is just to show us, and I got those statistics from the website usafacts.org, I think it is. So just so you have the citation for that. So let me share the screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So look at this graph, guys. This is the graph of who owns the wealth in the United States. So this line is for white people. This line here is for other. This dark blue line is for Black people, and the dark green line is for Hispanic people. So as you can see by this graph, which I wanted to show this image because it just really stands out at you of the gap. So this is where we are right now. Now, let me go ahead and continue. Why I have this up, I'm going to go back and then I want to tell you guys about these other statistics for Black and Hispanics. So we just talked about how whites, their wealth is diversified across many different assets, home ownership, mutual funds, stocks and bonds, different assets, different things, pensions, real estate. So for almost 2/3 of Black wealth, the only thing that we have our wealth composed of is real estate and pensions. And actually 38% of our wealth comes from pension assets alone. So that's pretty sad. Basically, we don't own anything at all. And anything that we have accumulated wealth from is from what we earned from working. Okay. Wealth held in real estate plummeted across all racial groups during the 2008 Great Recession. We know that. So I say that to say that even though it plummeted across all racial groups in 2008, while the wealth did that, in 2016, white Americans had already bounced back from that. And we're pretty much still not bouncing back from that. And also the pandemic is compounding the situation and making it much worse for us. And the 400 richest American billionaires have more total wealth than all 10 million Black American households combined. So to me, this is why I feel we need reparations now. I mean, there's other things that people have proposed to try to close this gap, such as different taxation methods, and things like that, or even like giving newborns a certain amount of money when they're born to start and invest that money. So when they're 18, it compounds and they can use that money for college or for a business or whatever. So those are all great things to do. But to me, our people still need reparations. And I feel like these statistics from 1990 to now have not gotten any better. Actually, they've gotten a little worse. So if the statistics aren't getting better at the current rate of what we're doing, then that means it's time for a change. So I'm going to go ahead and let the panel chime in on what they think about those statistics and what they think about that topic.
Well, if I may, they said recently, I read an article that all the programs, the stimulus programs that they had recently stopped in January. So this is the stimulus checks, the unemployment, and also any residuals off of that, right? People didn't get their checks, et cetera, et cetera. So it all stopped this January. And they said that the childhood poverty went down to 41%, and it was going up when people were getting the stimulus, meaning that parents had more money for food, more money for expenses, to pay bills, et cetera, et cetera. So it shows that what you're saying is right. If we did get an economic package of reparations, that would definitely set us right. It would put us on the right course. Like a lot of people, there's some sort of narrative that if we got cash, that we would spend it all and, give it to Cadillac and Bentley. I know the Dave Chappelle skit and all that, it's funny and all that. But everyone else has gotten cash. That's what people don't realize. Everyone else, including the Native Americans. And another thing I would like to say about this is one of the things we really have to start identifying with is our status and fixing the straw man and things like that, so that we can tie ourselves to Native Americans. Because quiet is kept, so-called Black people are Native Americans. We have been on this land way before the so-called Indians, way before Columbus and all of them, of course. But we've been here before, and we came here on boats. So if you look at the Okanichis and the Gullah Geechee and the Arawaks and the Cherokees, you'll find melanated beings. To this day, even if you Google these tribes, you'll see melanated beings in the celebrations participating. But most don't know about it because this is not something they're going to put on TV. This is not something they're going to advertise. This is not something they're going to let you know. I personally believe, and based on my studies and research, the quickest way to get, because even recently they had because of Pfizer and all these medications, that they were given, these psychotropic medications that they were given, the quote unquote substances that they put in lean, and what do they call it, the perks and stuff like that that they were giving out. They had the Native American tribes had won a big lawsuit, like billions of dollars, and every single tribe is getting money. Everyone, like all the tribes. As long as you're Native Americans, you would be getting a piece of that money. So one of the ways to really approach that, which I think is being done, again, my opinion, based on the way it's being perceived in social media, calling yourself a descendant of the slave. Well, there's many people that were slaves throughout history and throughout different cultures. Calling yourself foundational Black American, well, Black is a color. There's no historical record for Black. So you have to tie yourself to a land. The Moors got something going. The Native Americans got something going, but you have to tie it to a land mass, to a history, to a heritage, and to a culture for melanated people and melanated Americans to get their just due, which is reparations, or else it's not really going to happen because there's really no legal basis for it.
So I obviously agree with you 100%, and that's why I encourage everybody to go back through BTV and watch some of our Hebrew Israelite programs and really learn your history, because really that's who we are. So that is something that we can tie ourselves to and hold on to. It's our language, a land, and all that, and it's our nationality, and it dates back further than everything else you just said. So I would encourage people to, do their research, check out some of the Israelite brothers that I have on the show. We do plenty of shows like that. And just learn, and figure it out. And, not saying that you have to do this or do that, but just know who you are. And then that way you can know where you're going. I'll let the other panel members chime in before we close out. Live Star, you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you, bro. Go ahead. Now, there you go, babe.
Yeah, I was saying, I was just gonna add on to what y'all was saying and ask a question, but don't the Moors, wasn't they helping people out with the something about the Constitution, that we wasn't a part of this Constitution, right?
So the Moors, yeah,
I remember, I
the
remember
Moors
that. I
have.
remember them.
Mhm.
Go ahead, go ahead.
They have something where they have a national. They get sovereignty. So I don't know all the ins and outs. And actually, I'm actually having a Morris brother come on the show later in March. So that's something that we could all make sure we tune into. And he's
Cause
going to try to explain some of that for us. But I don't know the whole ins and outs of that. So I don't want to speculate on too much. But they do have something where they are recognized as a nation and they get some level of sovereignty. Yes.
yeah, I remember that a couple of years ago. Couple of Morris brothers I know, they was into that, doing it. And I think, like you said, because my next question was, how will we go about getting reparations? You know what I'm saying? Because what, was that what, like, and then Black kind of answered the question for me. But that's what, if we gotta tie it to, my question to Black is, you said we would have to tie it to some type of land, if I'm not mistaken. You said that.
Yeah, you would have to tie it to the nation, because there's different nations, like the
To a
Arawaks.
nation.
That's a
Yes. To
nation.
a nation.
Cherokees.
Okay,
Those are
so
nations.
where,
So
where
black is
does
not a nation.
slavery?
So we're called African Americans. We're called black. That's not a nation. Africa's a whole continent.
Yeah,
Is
you're
every
right.
we don't all of us can't come from just the whole continent. So that's what black is saying. Like you got to tie it back to a nation. A nationality means you have a land, a nation, a language, and all these different things. A culture, a heritage. All these different things come
But this
with a
is what that,
nationality.
but we already have a nationality. We already have a culture. We already had a foundation. You got to remember, we came here. We asking for
Right.
reparations here,
That's what we're
right?
saying. Yeah, that's what we're
So,
saying.
so,
Hmm.
so, hold on. Let me say this. So we already have that. Why we got to bring it forth? We already have it. They already know how we got here. You understand what I'm
Bro,
saying?
come on. Why do we got to bring forth? Because they don't, everything we do, we have to prove. We have to
But
prove
that's
the
kind of
simplest thing
crazy.
but
That's
no,
like
because
that. You know
that's where
why?
we live. That's where we live,
Yeah, I
though.
mean it
That's
is.
where we live. We got to look
But
at the
the
reality of
Jews,
it.
The Jews didn't have to do that. It was documented. They knew, okay, what happened. They got their reparations and why they got their reparations. And see, this is another thing I wanted to bring up. That's why I asked the question. Why do it should be, this is not no secret. Like you said, come on. I mean, why we gotta prove something that's already public? You understand? This is generations on top of generations, just like the Holocaust was. So
So,
at the
mm-hmm.
end of the day, I feel that it's not about the proving of the land, none of that shit. I just think they don't want to give us nothing.
It's true. They don't want to give us nothing. And you're
You know what I'm
saying, why
saying?
do we have to do this? And I'm going to tell you why. Because as we speak, bro, what are they trying to do? They're trying to erase the history as we speak. That's what they've been doing. So we can't depend on them to say, okay, that was the history. This is what we did to them. And now let's give them this money. They're not going to do that. They still hate us. We still have to go through all these hoops and hula hoops to have anything just to be on the equal playing field. So we know why, So I don't want to get into that because
That's
we know
crazy.
why, and they continue to do it to us. So it's up to us, like Rob said, it's up to us to tie ourselves to our true nationality, which I push for. But black education empowers, creating all unity, saving everything. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we got to educate ourselves and empower ourselves so we can make the best informed decision, so we can move as one unit to get those reparations. Sis, you want to chime in?
Well, I just like to mention, as it relates to being Native Americans, being the Aboriginal people here in this land, and how after slavery, the chattel slavery, and that sometimes we were mixing here with those that they were labeling the Indians and whatnot. And then when they started reservationing and hashing and tagging off different parts of land for these said tribes here, they were saying that the Negro couldn't be, they, who the powers that be, white folks, couldn't be Indian. Even though they had mixed the babies that had come from the wombs of the slave that had been put in them by the Indian men and vice versa. They were saying and tailing these people and these babies they couldn't be that. But then there were the dolls rolls, the $5 Indians, the white folks that paid $5 to be labeled and registered with these tribes who right now are getting reparations and have been for generations by way of their land and reservations. And then now a lot of them have created casinos, which have made these tribes millionaires. A lot of them, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest and Washington, they get per capita checks in the ways of like 6 and 7 thousand per person, including the babies, like every quarter, right? But black folks who, if you swab their mouth or whatnot, it's hard to register with a lot of these tribes because that we have been put against each other so much, the BIPOC groups of people, that it's even harder for us to do that. So I just wanted to mention that those $5 rolls, you look and see their tribal leaders now, they look closer to white people than they do to even the Indian we were taught was an Indian in school, or excuse me, Native American, if we want to be politically correct.
Politically correct. Yep, sis. So I also want to chime off of what you just said, sis, and really bring out another historical point that because it was interesting what you just said is the reclassification. Back then they unclassified us as Indian because that a lot of us were classified as that back then in those ages, and they reclassified us as other than that. I would imagine so we wouldn't be tied to a people, a nation, so we could not have these things to come forth. So, we have to think about that too. All of that, is really instrumental in where we are today. And the more we know about that, the more we can do things to change it. I say that to say, we know better, we gotta do better. Like we said, it's 2022. If we really want this change and incite the change, we got to do it. We got to be it, and we got to do the research and put the footwork in to actually make it. So that being said, I want to go ahead and close the show out. I want to thank the panel. It's been a great show. I loved it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in at home. I want to say thank you to Karama, Live Star, and RA Blackstorms. If you guys want to follow them on social media, why don't you guys go ahead real quick and give your social media handles where everybody can follow you, okay? And then I'll go ahead and close the show out after that. Rob, why don't you go ahead first?
All right, you can find me on Instagram, RA_Blackstorm, and you can find me on YouTube on the same name, Rob Blackstorm.
I am on Instagram as Koramaisms, same spelling as on my name under here.
Wonderful, sis. Wonderful. I loved it. I loved it. Go ahead, Live Star. Give your information. Live, you're muted, bro. Let me unmute you. There you go, bro.
Yeah, I've been muted all day. What's going
Bro,
on?
you gotta unmute yourself, bro. I mean, I got you. You know, I got you,
Oh,
but you
hold
gotta.
on. I don't know. I don't be knowing how to work this thing.
I see. I see. I got
Okay,
you
so
though.
all right,
Don't
all right,
worry.
all right, all right.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
you.
I'll get
Go
you
ahead,
right
bro.
next
You
week.
all
You good.
good. You
But
all
my
good.
Instagram is welcome to with the number 2, the DA Matrix _ Live Star. That's my Instagram. My YouTube page is Live Star. LIV_STARR with 2 R's. Don't forget the 2 R's. Please don't put 1 star. I mean 1 R.
What aura?
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. Thank you guys so much. This has been a wonderful because remember, Black education empowers, creating all unity, saving everything. We will be back next Sunday for a very special tribute show. I'll have Movita Johnson Harrell on. I am so excited about that. She's a mentor of mine, a strong woman, and we're going to be busting it up with her and getting familiar with more of the things that she has going on. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Peace, bless, and love to all the family. Originals assemble. Let's get it.
Freedom, justice, equality.
What I'm gonna talk about.
Freedom,
What I'm gonna talk about.
justice, equality. Yeah.
Freedom for you and for me.
But when I look at y'all, I see the law. When I look in the mirror, I see the law. Now the question is, what is our law going to do for his nation? What is the earth going to do for their nation? So if you want things to change, if you want things to become better, then you yourself must make these things what happen. All that is caused by you, not by something else. Stop thinking that something is going to cause something to happen. Stop thinking something is going to cause